Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to my guide to Alexander Midas Floor 4, The Burden of the Sun on the normal difficulty. To unlock this raid, you must finish the Arm of the Sun and do the quest immediately following it. This raid has the same requirements as all of the previous Midas floors, so if you can enter those, you're going to be good here. Your opponent here in the Burden of the Sun actually consists of a total of 6 bosses, starting with the Onslaught. This guy is basically a smaller manipulator that can actually move around the arena, so you'll actually recognize the majority of his mechanics from Gordius Floor 4. Mega Beam is a new one, and it shoots a giant laser in the direction that he turns to face, so just get away from his front. Perpetual Ray inflicts the tank with a vulnerability up debuff, before he follows this up with 2 hydrothermal missile cleaves. You can either tank swap for this debuff, or just pop heavy defensive cooldowns and use heavy healing. Either works. When the Onslaught casts Execution, he'll summon 4 steam regulators that you have to kill before they explode. If they explode, they'll deal high damage and inflict vulnerability up, so just focus them when they come out. He's going to use a few AoEs here, including another Mega Beam, so watch out for those as well. His Discoid attack will tether a Discoid orb to 4 different players. The only thing you need to do here is avoid getting hit by your own orb, so just make sure to have somebody else intercept an orb that's tethered to you. Deal with these 2 mechanics over and over again until you kill the Onslaught. So the boss is dead, yay! Nope. Next you'll actually have to face all 4 of the bosses from the Cup of the Sun, except this time they'll be in groups of 2. First up, you'll have to deal with the Brawler and the Vortexer. They use the same attacks as they did back in Floor 2, so especially be on the watch for the Brawler's hand transformations. Quick refresher, single cannon equals tank buster. Double cannon equals split damage with the raid, and drill equals move away from him. The Vortexer on the other hand just does knockbacks and shoots fire and ice AoEs. Take out the Brawler first, and then the Vortexer. After taking those first 2 out, you'll want to fight the Blaster and the Swindler next. Focus on the Blaster first. You'll need to do the high and low arithmetic mechanic again, so watch for the floor's elevation levels. You'll also need to do the AoE that requires a certain number of players, or as you see in my footage, you could just run away from the group. I guess that works as well. If you want to do it properly, you know how to do it. The Blaster also summons his mirages like before, so be sure to run away from them and get out of their dashing paths if they're facing you. After you kill these 2, all 5 bosses will come together to form Brute Justice and begin the final phase. Brute Justice has a mix of all the mechanics you just saw before this, as well as a few new ones. His tank buster is called Double Rocket Punch, but he also has a giant conal flamethrower that does a bit of damage as well. His first mechanic is a bunch of AoEs, as well as a split damage AoE that he'll mark on a single player. So after the AoEs hit the ground, just all group up next to the Brute Justice. After that split damage AoE, he'll do a conal AoE called Apocalyptic Ray. To avoid this, just get behind him. He'll then do a super jump to a party member and deal high damage in an AoE around them. Get away from that party member if you see him turn to one of them, as it will also stun anyone who gets hit other than the player he is targeting. He will eventually follow up with a room-wide AoE called Short Needle multiple times in a row, before doing that split damage AoE again. After that split damage AoE for the second time, he'll use Mega Beam instead of Apocalyptic Ray, so just get away from his front side again. After the Mega Beam, Brute Justice will jump into the air before landing and doing a massive raid-wide AoE. Make sure people are nearly topped off. Heal up after that and prepare for his body to split back into 5 parts. At this point, a bunch of AoEs and mechanics from the individual parts will start to bombard you. Avoid the ice and fire AoEs and avoid stepping on the landmines at the start. When the Brawler comes back down, everyone should stack on the main tank to split damage of a double cannon. Then, the Onslaught will start coming to the arena and deal large amounts of damage to anyone standing close to the center, so try to get towards the outside. At the same time, you'll have to do the high and low arithmetic mechanic. And then, at the same time as that, he'll begin to fire off a Mega Beam AoE. After the Mega Beam, the parts will come back together again and the phase will start over. The second time the phase will persist a little bit longer, so it won't follow the exact same pattern, and if you take too long, he will eventually use Steam Cleaner and instantly wipe the raid. Just stay calm and enjoy the awesome 90s Japanese robot music of the final phase. Embrace the metal. Thanks for watching my guide to Alexander Midas Floor 4. This floor drops similar items to Gordius Floor 4, except that these items can be traded in for Midan gear, which is I-220 back in Idleshire. Also, you can get an item called an actual Maiden Gear, and it'll be obtainable once a week from this boss. You'll need 7 of these to buy a high capacity tombstone back in Idleshire, which is required along with the 10 Rowena's tokens of lore in order to buy an item level 230 weapon. It'll be a while before you get that. Anyway, thank you again for watching. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and if you need a refresher, be sure to check all the other Alexander normal guides, and we'll have Savage guides coming in the coming weeks. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video, and until then, take care.